Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Kimura Duo from Antlion Audio. So if you guys are familiar with Antlion, they made the mod mic, which is just a separate mic that you can attach to any headphones in order to make them into a headset. So this is their Kimura, which is an IEM with a microphone. You can either buy the Kimura as just a cable that you can attach to any IEM, and that comes in both MMCX connections as well as 2-pin connections. So you can choose, if you're just buying the cable, you can choose between MMCX or a 2-pin connection. So in the video, we're going to be unboxing the Duo, but they also sell the Solo. The difference between the Solo and the Duo is that the Solo uses a single dynamic driver and the Duo uses a dynamic plus a balanced armature driver. The Kimura Solo is $100 USD and the Kimura Duo is $150 USD. And if you just want to buy the cable by itself so you can attach it to your own IEMs, that will run you $60 USD. So I just want to preface this by saying that this entire review is being done on the Kimura Duo microphone. So everything that you're hearing in this video is going to be coming from the microphone itself. And I'm going to be doing a mic test section later on in the video where I give my opinions on the microphone and also do some background noise typing tests so you guys can hear that. So inside of the box, you will get a Y adapter in case you're using this with something like a laptop with only one 3.5mm port. You also get 3 different sets of ear tips. You get a foam ear tip and you also get a small ear tip as well, and I believe the other one is a large ear tip. And then pre-installed on the Kimura Duos was just the regular ear tip. In the box you also get a carrying case, which is pretty standard and decent quality, and you also get a startup guide as well. Okay, let's go over the cable real quick. This is a fully rubber cable and it terminates into 2 different 3.5mm outputs. You have the microphone and then audio as well, obviously. Like I said, the entire cable is rubber and it's not the greatest quality, if I'm being honest. It's pretty rigid, not that flexible, and there is a lot of cable noise. So if you're wearing this and the cable brushes up against your shirt, you will hear that noise. Luckily, there is a clip that you can use to clip onto your shirt, which reduces a little bit of that cable noise. You also have a chin cinch as well so that you can slide that up to get a more comfortable fit. Here is the actual IEM close up. It actually looks great. It's a very nice looking IEM. Of course, the Duo is going to be blue, and then if you get the Solo, it's going to be red, and you also have the Antlion Audio logo as well on the faceplate there, and the entire shell here is resin as well. And I included this clip in here of me bending the little ear loop, so you can actually bend this to whatever you want and it will stay in place. So if you want a custom shape or whatever, you can actually bend this into any form that you want. This is the same material as the microphone, so you can bend the microphone into any way that you want and it will stay in that position. It is a little bit finicky trying to get it into the perfect position, and that's one other thing that I wanted to touch on with the microphone. Getting it into a good position actually was pretty tedious. You have to bend it around quite a bit, and if you bend the microphone, sometimes it also like shifts the IEM out of your ear. So it was a little bit of a process, but once you get it figured out, you don't really have to touch it anymore. All right, let's talk about in-game audio quality, right? So I find that the bass on the Kimura Duo is very heavy, so it's very emphasized in the bass. It's a lot of that rumbly sort of bass, so it's almost to the point of being muddy. I would actually almost even say that this is a pretty muddy set of IEMs. So yeah, I definitely would have preferred a little bit less bass on these IEMs. It's just a little bit fatiguing, especially when you're like shooting a Vandal, like especially the Prelude to Chaos that I'm using right now. It's a little bit fatiguing to the ears, just because I feel like there's so much bass. The soundstage on these IEMs is pretty intimate. I feel like everything's pretty close to me, but that is the case for most IEMs. One thing I will say though is the imaging on these IEMs are actually pretty good. The sense of directionality that I get is pretty nice. I can definitely tell where footsteps are coming from, where gunshots are coming from. So the imaging is actually pretty decent on these IEMs. I will say I do feel like these have better imaging than my Moondrop Arias, which I was on for a really long time, but it's not as good as something like the Kiwi Ears Orchestra Lite, which I reviewed a while ago. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link to that video in the description. The treble on these is a little bit harsh, especially like getting these headshot kills. That sound effects when you get those kills with the headshot, and just even like the timer counting down when I die to respawn is a little bit sibilant to my ears. So it really feels like the sound signature on these, it feels like it's a V shape, like a very heavy V shape where you have emphasized bass and emphasized treble, which is a little bit fatiguing to my ears. Like I can definitely see myself getting fatigued listening to these IEMs for a long time. But if you really like bass and you really like treble, this might be a sound signature that you like. Yeah, the sound isolation on these is pretty good as well. So yeah, overall you have an intimate soundstage, pretty good imaging, just a little bit of emphasis in the bass and treble. Or I wouldn't say a little bit, you actually have a lot of emphasis in the bass and treble. So that's pretty much the sound signature that you're getting in-game with these IEMs. Okay, so let's get into the microphone portion of the video. You guys have been hearing the microphone throughout this entire video, so I'm sure you have your opinions on it already formulated, but let me just give my own opinions on it right now. So I've plugged the microphone into both my Go XLR interface as well as just directly into my computer. It didn't really change the quality of the audio, but obviously it's going to depend heavily on the quality of the sound card of your motherboard if you are plugging it straight into your motherboard, or the quality just of your audio interface, right? So the microphone sounds good. It definitely sounds better than a headset microphone. The only thing is this is an omnidirectional mic, so there's no noise suppression whatsoever on the microphone, which means that anything in the background will get picked up by your microphone. And I'll prove that in a second with a typing test, but even right now you can probably hear a lot of background noise, maybe birds chirping outside. I do have my window open, so noises like that it's definitely going to pick up, unlike a traditional gaming headset where the mic is, you know, focused on noise isolation. With the trade-off being that this microphone sounds a lot better than the headset microphones, but you're not going to be getting that noise isolation. Okay, so let's move on to the typing test here so that you guys can get an idea of the background noise. So I'm just going to open up Notepad here and just start typing on the keyboard, and you can sort of hear that this microphone is going to pick up all of this noise, all of this keyboard noise. It's going to get picked up since this is an omnidirectional microphone. All right, one more thing I want to touch on is the comfort of these IEMs. I've had no issues with the comfort at all. They've been very comfortable. That is one reason that people are preferring IEMs now over headsets and headphones, is just because of the comfort factor. You can wear them with glasses with no issues at all. And also, obviously, you're not going to get any headset dents in your hair. There's nothing wrong with the size of these IEMs. They're not too large at all. And I found them to fit in my ears pretty well. They're not as small as something like a Moondrop Aria, but they're also not as large as something like a Moondrop Blessing, like a Blessing 2 or a Blessing 3. So yeah, I would say these are sort of like a medium-sized IEM. If you have super small ears, you might want to be cautious of it, but for most people, I think these IEMs will be perfectly comfortable, and I've had no comfort issues with them whatsoever. Even with the microphone, I thought I would be annoyed and notice that the microphone was there, but I actually don't notice the microphone at all. It just feels like I'm wearing a set of normal IEMs, and you really can't feel the microphone at all. Okay, so final thoughts on the Kimura Duos. Not my favorite sound signature, very emphasized bass and treble. The bass I found to be a little bit muddy, especially when listening to music. So definitely not my favorite in terms of sound signature. They do work decently well in competitive shooters because of that imaging, but like I said, for high pitched sounds, there is a lot of sibilance, and I find myself getting very fatigued listening to these for a long period of time. As for the microphone cable, if you are an IEM user and you need a microphone on your IEMs for the convenience factor and you don't want to buy a standalone microphone, the cable is pretty solid, and it comes in both MMCX configurations as well as a 2-pin, so you can pretty much put these on any set of IEMs. And obviously the microphone sounds great, but like I said, there is no sound suppression or noise isolation, so it will pick up a lot of background noise. So that is something that you might want to keep in mind. If that's not something you like, then you might want to look into other alternatives. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. The Kimura IEMs and microphone cable target a very niche audience, and if you fit into this audience, these will work great for you. But I hope this video helps you guys out. If it did, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.